got two topics that I want to look at. I'm going to be looking at the Occupy Bank of Ghana protest and all the issues that have come up. The protesters want the central bank governor and his deputies to resign because they have grossly mismanaged the central bank. They have run it down, and the man himself and his deputies have flouted certain laws governing the operations or the management of the central bank, and that's why they want him. They want him out. But the central bank governor has also come out with a response. It says what the minority and all the other groups that joined the minority in that protest have done is unnecessary. It is needless because I am a central bank governor. You have parliament. You can invite me and ask me whatever questions you need to ask me. You didn't need to stage a protest. Indeed, what you have done amounts to hooliganism. So basically, the protesters are hooligans, and that in a civilized society, that's not how to hold your central bank governor accountable. That's what Dr. Ernest Addison has been reported to have said. The fundamental question people have asked now is that are we targeting or are we barking the wrong tree by going after the central bank governor and his deputies? Because if it's about the printing of money, he printed the money for the finance minister. Some say go after the finance minister or perhaps go after the appointing authority instead of going after the central bank governor, and that you're targeting the wrong person. But that's somebody else's opinion. That one of the protesters is here. I'll be asking what he makes of that criticism. And then the back and forth between Kenneth Japon and that's his campaign team and Chairman Wuntumi's campaign, and then also the call for a truce between the two feuding factions. And what that portends for the unity of the NPP going forward. Some might say it's just a storm in a teacup. There's nothing really to worry about. After November 4th, all of this would be behind the party. The party is going to go into 2024 as a united front. Some might say, no, this is Kenneth Japon we're talking about, so you've got to be careful. But what do you make of it? We'll come back and do all of that. So let's now watch how the protests went sometime this week when the Occupy Bank of Ghana protesters hit the streets of Accra.
Addison and the deputies here, Wamu Riasikana Munsa Muade. Wamu and Ambetra Hodia, Yani Wamu, Ebechiayam. Yanko, near Sayamba. Sami declare as a higher crime scene. Yanuna prosi for Abecha has here. Eti Aqua, Wamunina. Now Wamun cordon and Hano. Now I'm protected. Say higher crime scene. Say what say amba. Say amba more from and free wa. Yada yana. Na akwara. Osi o mani mame nano. Bentua empa ne toda. Enti apuma bentua no. Babia Addison wo bia no. Yadi betuano. Kakadura yadi betuano. Opa, Jesus sorry free akonya no so. No compare ne ba bitra. Oko IMF. Bosome na wampon kura da obepon, obeje krata no. Enu nti yadamase.
In exactly a year and 3 months, the people of Ghana will have the opportunity to make sure that this government that only has shown that the only thing they can do is to show selfishness, greed, this government must give way for the sake of the future of our country. As the minority leader said, this battle is not for you. It's not for me. It's for the children of Ghana. It's for the generations that are behind us to ensure that this governance that we see in the last 7 years, we no more have a repeat of this kind of government.
We expect Ms. Governor Addison to resign, he and his two deputies. We have had enough of their destruction. We've had enough of their chronic corruption. We've had enough of the looting. And we have had enough of the destruction of livelihoods. As we speak, this is a governor who has illegally printed 77 billion Ghana cedis without parliamentary approval, violating Section 30 of his own act. This is a governor who, after printing illegally 77 billion, has managed to make losses of 60.8 billion cedis, negative equity of 55 billion. And in the midst of all the mess, the collapse, the depletion of our national reserves, this governor says that this is a time to be building a new office. Can you believe that? What does he take us for? This guy has absolutely no respect for Ghanaians. He thinks that we are yo-yos. He thinks that Ghanaians are stupid people, that he can come destroy our central bank and then build for himself a new head office. And look at the scandal associated with that office. It starts at $81 million. That is the approval he got from the PPA. As we speak, that project is now in excess of $300 million if you add the cost of the land. I mean, where does this happen?
Wallahi talahi, we are not joking. Wallahi, we are not joking. Tio, yena nanum, tio, yena nanum. What you say? You see, yena ra ya sasini, eya boarding di mayen, mojana nananu shegui, nyade tu homayen. Edru mini usu. Eya mojana nkrofo shegui ya mudi nya Ghana di tu ho. Eti se yena ya yedin ni yena ti fie na obi asro se o posinti a. Eni eti yena na Ghana. And we will not sit down to allow that to happen.
I think it's a shame that the governor of the Bank of Ghana was not present and none of his deputies were equally present to take our petition. And I think this sends a clear message to Ghanaians, right? Because clearly they do not care. Even after several announcements, you can't say that they did not know this was going to go on, and you cannot say they did not know that we were coming here to present a petition to them, to essentially kick them out. So probably they were running away. Of course, I've been equally, apart from being on the ground, I've been following tweets, and some people are even saying that the governor suffered from BP and therefore he's been admitted at the UGMC. If it's health condition, of course, I do not wish him ill, but at the same time, we expect him to be present to take our petition. If he feels he cannot take it, he has other deputies who could have taken the petition from us.
We cannot continue to manage this country like this. You and I are suffering because of what they are doing to this country. You cannot tell me that when your salary is, you receive your salary and you go to the market today and you buy foodstuff, the next week when you go, you buy it at the same price. No, food inflation is skyrocketing. And we cannot continue to live like that. Your salary remains the same, but anytime you go to the market, the prices of goods and services are increasing. Go to the airport today, you see the number of young people running away from this country. Visit the embassies every early morning. You see the number of young people who are queuing to seek visas in order to run away. You are sure, you are aware, not too long ago, the reproductive health statistics came out, and the number of youth who are affected or infected with HIV/AIDS. I'm sure you got the statistics. Why? It is because of hardships. Because of hardships. Some of them revert to all forms of means, to earn something so that they can eat. Why should we continue to lead this country this way? Currently, the country is not even on autopilot. It is going down. The country is drowning. The country is descending.
We need to register our discomfort, our displeasure, our disappointment, especially our protests about the character of this government. I believe that we voted for Nanado and NPP for a particular reason, because of the gospel that they gave us, that when they come, they are coming to turn Ghana into heaven. They are coming to put money into our pockets, which they believe that, or which they preach that the previous government was not doing. So we came out to vote for them. But look at the state of the economy right now. Ghanaians are having problems the way this government is ruling this country.
They are not incompetent, and they said that first, now over 300,000 cities, our banker, now to me $100,000. And now 300,000 again, I don't think it's even $20,000. No. So I see the nigga in this strength. No, I don't mean to. It's not correct. And now, Obia, you may be in the Nisika, share. Economy and yet, and Yamina make Obia Tiabian. I don't think any other say. Almost shall be normal yet because you to know your bread and now party fast organ and good because farmers ain't mean talk a bro and fan feeding cocoa. If you among with ya and Yaman soon to mean talk chemicals, fertilizer, BPR wiring.
All right, so welcome back. So those were excerpts of what happened on that day when the protesters, led by the minority, decided to picket the central bank and asking the governor and his two deputies to resign. So let's do this. I'm going to be introducing my resource persons for today, and then I'll go straight to Zoom and speak to Professor Lord Mensah, and then I'll come back in-house and talk to my resource persons. So on my immediate right is the Member of Parliament for the Tamale Central Constituency, and I'm talking about the Honorable Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum. Right. And also joining me on my immediate left is Mr. Alfred Kojo Thompson. He is a member of the NPP's communications team. He's also, well-versed when it comes to financing, of course, banking and finance. And also, Nanea Jantwa is the General Secretary of the CPP. She's also here with us. Nanea, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. That's fine. Yeah, sure. No, they're working on your microphone. That's why I didn't come to yes. No, yours. Your microphone is there's a challenge there. That's why I didn't want you to speak. Yeah. So let me just go straight to the Zoom now and speak to Professor Lord Mensah while they sort out the microphones. Professor Lord Mensah, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. He is an economist and also a lecturer in finance, University of Ghana Business School. Prof, good morning. Good to have you on the show. All right, welcome back. We sincerely apologize for that. We had a bit of a technical glitch. It's been sorted, so we're fine. We're good to go now. Let me go straight to the Zoom and speak to Professor Lord Mensah. Prof, thank you very much once again, and we sincerely appreciate your patience and the fact that you made time to stay with us.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you for having me.
Right. So you watched the protests, and I'm sure you either watched it on TV, must have followed on radio, or must have seen it on social media, etc. But basically, you followed it, I know. Would you say that when you look at the numbers and you look at the message and you look at those who were propagating the message, would you say that generally the protest was a successful one?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good protest. And the success of a protest is not measured by the number of people that you see on the street. It's a matter of the message that is being, carried across. And so from where I sit, I got the message clear and the sense of the signal that people are not happy with the central bank governor. And again, the team that is working with. So I'm not measuring the success of the protest based on the number of people who were on the street. The message was clear. People are not happy with the operations of the central bank. With a central bank that is expected to control inflation, central bank that is expected to run our policies that to ensure that interest rates, comes down. We are not seeing that. And as a result of that, the hardship that these indicators comes with has hit the doorstep of the typical Ghanaian. And that is why, they are on the street. But it's unfortunate. I mean, you may say that the message wasn't delivered. As a result of that, the protest wasn't successful. Now, message delivered or not, the signal, and that signal, indicate that the central bank governor and his team are not performing to the satisfaction of the people.
Okay, so Prof, when you listen to the reasons why the minority gave for going on this protest, do you think these reasons are justified, and whether the right person or whether Dr. Ernest Addison and his deputies are the people who should be blamed for what is happening, or it must go beyond them?
Well, from where I sit, I think the central bank plays a major role in economic dynamics of this country, because the central bank is running one arm of the economic policies, which is the monetary policy, and strictly the activities of the central bank is, in line or has been detected to be in the monetary policy channel. You have a central bank for which a governor and his team acts like, political
So I think
pounds,
that's a challenge with
it will end up
capital
creating,
sound.
trouble.
I don't know where it's coming from.
In a sense that,
Right.
you see, there's a reason why for every visit to IMF, even the Bank of Ghana's own act, they take the limit to which the central bank can push money to the government directly. There are some monies that can be pushed. We're talking about monies that has been earmarked for a purpose. So we can say money has come from, the World Bank. Money has come from, the IMF. That money may be doing certain projects. Those ones can be advanced because they going to serve a purpose. But then when it comes to floating funds that, the central bank needs to use to support the economy, for the economy to re-energize itself, those monies don't go through the corridors of the government. It has to be run through the monetary corridors, which is through the banking channels. Now let's look at the happenings on the grounds in Ghana. We have a situation where at the point we were giving haircut to banks, and by so doing reduce the liquidity that the banks have. On one arm, the little liquidity that the central bank has to use to support the banks, the central bank tends to channel it to the government directly. And there's a reason, and the reasons are economical. In the sense that when a central bank lends to government directly, the monies that are being given out may not end up in efficient sectors of the economy, because political masters who are policy makers usually rely on short term. So their mandate is to look at how they can win elections, most of the time. And as a result of that, they don't mind going into projects. They don't mind financing economic activities that will win them vote, but not necessarily, generating the economic returns that is expected. So there's a limit to what the central bank can do as far as they are interfacing with the government is concerned. Now, another thing that we can put the blame, that will make us put the blame on the central bank, is that the central bank acts as a bank for the government. And me and you, we know. Let's come to our consumer level banking. If your bank sees that you are not operating your accounts very well, you've taken up more loans than what is coming into the accounts, they advise you, don't they? They do. And as a result of that, you keep calm and then look at how your finances will be shaping. But did we get this from the central bank? We don't get that. The central bank, as we speak now, with its governors, are acting as political, pawns, which seems like everything that the government, requests seem to be given. And as a result of that, we find ourselves in this situation. In fact, the central bank is supposed to be the technical eye of the government. And I believe that the current central bank team, I'm talking about, the top, they have given a lot of respect for the government without respecting the citizens. And this has reflected in the way and manner the petition was, to be received. We have a situation where we have a central bank governor, 2 deputies. If they are going for negotiations with the IMF, I think one of them can stay and take up the petition to give that respect to citizens. Remember, Parliament is well split, and Parliament represents the people. So that should tell you that for minority to be on the street, it should tell you that 50% of Ghanaians, are those that we see on the street. We cannot all be on the street. And it's a signal to the government and then the central bank that people are not happy. Life is difficult in Ghana. And as a result of that, they may have to sit up. And somebody may ask, why would, the minority be on the street? Is that the only means that they can, find to solve such a problem? I can tell you, there are options, several of them. But all those options, I don't think there's hope in there to yield anything. And as a result of that, they ended up being on the street. But you see, when you have a situation where a central bank governor tends to be in bed with executive and the government, and you want to remove that central bank governor, somebody will say, why won't you rely on his appointees? Write a petition to the appointees to make sure that they relieve the governor of his post. I mean, we have records. The president has not given us that kind of hope that the citizens' request will be adhered to. We were here when there was a call on the head of the finance minister. That was the beginning of all these problems. And the president gave us hope that we should allow him to get the IMF program, running. And after that, he would take decisions. Have we heard anything after we started engaging the IMF? We are going into the second tranche, negotiations.
All right.
Another option would be to use the legal mechanism to remove him. The legal structures are there, but as to whether the minority have confidence in the legal structures, that's another question to, look at.
Okay.
There is also, another option which will come from the board itself, because the board, having independent board members and having committees within the board, if it turns out that the central bank governor who is chairing their meetings are not, pushing the country
All right, that appears to be a challenge with the connection to Prof's Zoom, and that's why you realize that we'll be having some challenges with the sound. When we get back to him and we have a better sound quality, we'll get him back to conclude what he was saying. Because I wanted to ask him a final question, which is that does the fact that the central bank governor wasn't there physically to receive the petition, does that take something away from the demonstration, or it doesn't? I just wanted to get a yes or no from him, and then he can leave us. But so we'll try and get him back to just answer that. But in the meantime, let me come back in house. I have Murtala Mohammed with us. He is the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central. Nanaya Jan Tua, she's the General Secretary for the CPP, that's Convention People's Party, and Alfred Kojo Thompson here, who is a member of the MPP's communications team. So please let's try and get Prof at some point to just answer yes or no on this, and then he can take leave of us. So Murtala, when you look at the numbers, you look at the point that you got to, you wanted to physically deliver your petition for the resignation of Dr. Ernest Adesina and his two deputies from the central bank. You got there. What were you told as to why he was unavailable?
Well, good morning, Muru, and good morning to my big sister and also my very good friend, who strangely may be seeking to defend a state institution that is expected or supposed to be independent. All manner of things happened under this government. They defend the Electoral Commission, they defend every state institution.
But the reason why he would defend, the reason why he would defend the central bank is because usually when you're criticizing the central bank governor, you say in cahoots with the finance minister, the vice president, and the president, and that's where perhaps he comes in.
So when we raise issues that the central bank was supposed to do, as a supposedly independent institution, he shouldn't come to tell me that they are independent institutions.
So
because if they are,
your logic is that if they're independent, they should be speaking for themselves.
Exactly, they should be speaking for themselves.
Well, that makes sense.
So I just want to.
That's a caveat for Alfred Kojo Thompson. All right.
we have all agreed to charter a part called democracy. And this democratic part we agreed to charter, that we have tried them several times. At least after independence, we ran the parliamentary system. At a point in time, we decided to run the executive system of government, and we haven't tested these two systems. In 1992, we decided to come with the hybrid system. The hybridity of the system we run comes with some conditions. And when you want to democratize, you must be prepared to compromise and to give up certain, if you like, satisfactions. Because if everybody wants to do what he or she likes, you cannot have a democracy. There must be set rules and regulations that should determine the conduct of everybody. Part of those conditions says that citizens can embark on demonstration for the purposes of seeking redress or making a case. The Constitution did not say, or hasn't said, that for you to embark on demonstration, you should have exhausted other channels. That is not what the Constitution says. So I can decide to use demonstration as the first means of making a case. And Article 21, Clause 1D is explicit on it. That's the first statement I want to make. So anybody or any citizen who decides to embark on demonstration, that right is given to him or her, or is given to them by the Constitution, and not any person, not even the president. And as a country, once we have all agreed to democratize, there are certain things that regulate our conduct. The conduct of the president is regulated by laws. The conduct of me as a member of parliament, or even you as a journalist, is regulated by the state. The governor of Bank of Ghana, whatever he does there, he must do things that are in line with the laws. He can't decide to do anything that is outside the laws. So that's another point I want to make. If you read the Constitution, specifically Article 183, it says, among others, that apart from the fact that the central bank is the bank of the state, the lender of last resort, the only bank that has the exclusive right to print currency, to determine how currencies are printed. If you read the Constitution, the first function that is mentioned in Article 183 is that the central bank has a responsibility of promoting the domestic currency and ensuring that they maintain its stability. So what it means is that the most important function of anybody who has that central bank is to ensure that that particular function is what is carried through. Because of all the functions, the framers of the law deemed it fit to use that as the first function. So what it means is that of all the functions, the most important function of the central bank is to promote the domestic currency and maintain its stability. Now, how do you assess whether someone is qualified to man that office, or whether someone is qualified to continuously be in that office, or such a person is unfit to be in that office? You can use this particular function to determine whether the person is fit to continue being in office as the governor of Central Bank. This governor took over from Dr. Nash. By the way, Dr. Nash was booted out. You know what they did to him? When he never resigned, he was the Central Bank governor. They will hold meetings at the Ministry of Finance on issues of central banks, and he was never aware. They never invited him. And he felt that his position was untenable any longer. Because whatever they do, they would have been doing it for and on behalf of the central bank when he was not involved. So this was what they did, and he decided to just bow out. Dr. Addison took over from Dr. Nash when the cedi to the dollar was 3.8 cedis to $1. Let's even say 4 cedis. Tell me whether you can remember any time the cedi came down under the reign of Dr. Addison. So what happens is that it means that ever since he took over as the governor of Central Bank, he failed to honor this constitutional obligation. And the constitutional obligation is not just only to promote the Ghanaian cedi, but also to maintain its stability. So he failed woefully, and the facts are there for anybody to see. He failed to maintain the stability of the Ghanaian cedi. That is enough a justification for any citizen in this country to be asking him to resign. Except that someone is going to challenge the assertion that he hasn't failed in doing that. He failed. So this explanation of whether the decisions he takes that decisions with the Ministry of Finance or the Vice President or the President is another matter which I will deal with. But on the basis of his moral duty and a responsibility to promote and maintain the Ghanaian city, he has failed. Because within this period of time, it rose from 3.8% to 11.6% the last time I checked. As a matter of fact, it even went to 15%. So on that basis, this man is unfit to be in that office. Now, another very important point. People demonstrating this democratic and constitutional right. Dr. Addison insulted all of us. Mind you, 137 members of parliament participated in the demonstration, directly or indirectly. Those who were not there all agreed that there was enough justification for the demonstration to be embarked upon. Right. We participated in the demonstration not just as individual members of parliament. We are representing people. So whatever we do so for and on behalf of the people we represent. I embarked on the demonstration for and on behalf of the people of Tamale Central. So almost half of members of parliament, the people representatives, participated in the demonstration. So you can say that half of Ghanaians participated in the demonstration. Okay. Beyond the NDC members of parliament who participated in the demonstration, CPP was there officially, PNC was there officially, other groups, civil society organizations, trade unions, they all participated in the demonstration. And the only response Addison can give to us is to describe us as hooligans. And his reason for describing us as hooligans is that we could have indeed invited him. We have the option to invite you or to embark on demonstration. We have the option. You don't determine which of the options we take. You don't determine it for anybody, not even members of parliament. We determine which option we take, and we decided to trigger the option of demonstration as guaranteed by Article 21, Clause 1D of the 1992 Constitution. And you insulted us.
But you also can't determine for him how he describes your action. He decides to describe that action.
He doesn't have that option. He's working for and on behalf of the people of Ghana. Okay. He doesn't have that option.
Okay.
I can't get up and say that Tamale Central people I represent, I can decide to do whatever pleases me,
also
even if it displeases them. No, he doesn't have that option.
Okay.
And in any case, our taxes ensure his comfort.
Right.
The first salaries he takes comes from us. The Constitution permits that we have the right to ask those questions. So he cannot decide for us. And in any case, he is telling us that we shouldn't have taken this option.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
He has no right to do that.
He said, invite me to parliament.
I'm saying he has no right to do that. And in any case, I have served in the Public Accounts Committee, getting to my 4th year. And each of the 3 years, Bank of Ghana appeared before us. He has never participated in when we demanded that he ought to participate.
Not even once?
Not even once.
Really?
Not even once. Not even once. And he doesn't even send his deputies. So the belligerence, the disrespect.
No, but that's sheer disrespect.
I'm telling you,
that's
not even once.
To the house.
Not even once the 3 years.
That's serious.
Not even one, not even his deputies. But let me come to the most substantive issue. So with all these challenges, I've established that we have the right to do what we did, guaranteed by the Constitution, and he is supposed to discharge a function. That function is demanded on him as the governor of the central bank. And the most important function is to promote the Ghanaian city and ensure its stability. He has not been able to do that.
Okay.
So it is enough a ground for anybody to ask him to go. Okay. But let's see why we are where we are. Now, granted that they can bring in COVID, they can bring in Ukraine, they can bring in all manner of things they want to bring in. When you are facing challenges that have to do with financing, you need to begin acting responsibly. Moro, I'll use an analogy. I'm a parent. I have 4 beautiful kids. Then they have resumed school. And I haven't been able to pay the fees of my kids because I don't have the money. and my kids' colleagues have started going to school and they are not going. Then the following morning they wake up, get prepared to go to school, and I say, no, you can't go to school today. They ask, Daddy, why? And I say, oh, I haven't been able to pay your fees. They certainly will be frustrated. They will not be happy. But perhaps they would empathize and sympathize with me because I haven't been able to pay the fees. Then I get out of the house. Then upon my return, I come with a new car and a new gold watch. And my kids ask me, Daddy, where did you get this car and where did you get this gold watch? And I said, I just purchased them. But they said, but you have a car. I said, yes. That car is not befitting of my status. What do you think my kids will think about me?
You're very insensitive and a very wicked father. Yeah.
Good. Now, the reason why I'm giving this analogy is that in the eyes of all this, and in the management presented to the Auditor General, the Bank of Ghana itself admitted that they incurred losses of 60.8 billion Ghana cedis. That's what they have admitted. Yes. 60.8 billion.
Yes.
And in the eyes of this, they decided to spend $250 million to put up a new office. When we raised this, they said, no, the idea of putting up a new office didn't start today. It started under the NDC. It went through President Kufuor's administration, went through Prof. Mills, and went through President Mahama. In all those times, we never experienced the precarious, the economic quagmire that we have been subjected to by the incompetence and thievery of President Nana Addo and Dr. Bawumia and the whole gamut of incompetent ministers. We have never been subjected in that manner. Now, all this government, seeing the need for us to have that because this thing has been there for decades, felt that the timing was not appropriate. Even at those times when the economy was doing well. At the time when the cedi to the dollar was 3.8 cedis, they felt that it was not the appropriate time to do so. Now, you have decided to spend $250 million at a time when the cedi to the dollar is 11.6%. 6 cedis, 11 cedis, 60 pesos to $1. You have decided to spend that. And by the way, when the first contract was given to an entity, that company was willing to build that office at $130 million. Why did they cancel that contract? And I'm challenging your station. Go and find out the directors of the Gold Keys, that particular company, which does virtually every government project. Find out the directors and the relationship they have with the president and the minister for finance. Now, under this circumstance, Bank of Ghana decided to spend 131 million Ghana cedis in vehicular maintenance. Why are they using Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royce, the Bugattis? Is that the vehicles they use? They said they spent 131 million Ghana cedis in maintenance of vehicles and fuel. You know 131 million. 131 million, you can buy more than 131 vehicles. Even Land Cruiser is not up to $1 million, even if it is. The 131 million Ghana cedis, you can get the most expensive, if you like, four-wheel drive. At that rate, 131, you can get that. Yet they claim they spend 131 million Ghana cedis in vehicular maintenance and fuel. Again, they spent 97 million Ghana cedis on foreign and domestic travels. At a time when the president himself had announced that he instructed his ministers and deputy ministers and appointees to reduce the travels except those that are essential, not just necessary, but essential. Philosophy will tell you the difference between essential and necessary. 97 million Ghana cedis. They spent 357 million Ghana cedis in banking supervision. You know the shocking aspects. Bank of Ghana already has a department tasked with the responsibility to do supervision. Bank of Ghana. That department is manned by an employee, a director, and the Bank of Ghana. There are employees working under that division who are paid every month by the taxpayer, and their job is to monitor and supervise the activity of financial institutions in the country. And in fact, if you go to the regions, the previous 10 regions, now 16, the regions have Bank of Ghana offices in each of the regions.
And you have officers whose responsibility is to monitor financial activities operating within the regions and report to Bank of Ghana. So they are paid for the work they are supposed to be doing. Yet you spend an extra 357 million Ghana cedis on that. That doesn't fall under CAPEC, that doesn't fall under administration. It means that you have other extra activities you would have been engaged in, for which reason you need to spend extra 357 million Ghana cedis. Another one, 67 million on computer-related activities. 67 million on computer-related activities. Yet, when they were spending the 131 million, they said about IT. My understanding is that computer-related and everything should fall under that. What are the computer-related? It's even nebulous. Computer-related activities. It's exclusive of even purchasing computers. They spent 32 million Ghana cedis on communication. Moro, you have been a media guy for decades. They have a department for PR, public relations department, headed by a director. They have employees whose job is to do PR and other communication activities for Bank of Ghana. Yet they spend 32 million Ghana cedis. This will blow your mind. They spent 287 million Ghana cedis plus $2 million to buy gold watches for retirees of Bank of Ghana. The highest people at Bank of Ghana, whose services should attract enough or a lot of money to be spent, is the governor and his 2 deputies and directors. 2022, the governor didn't retire. The 2 deputies didn't retire. None of the directors retired. So who did they spend 287 million Ghana cedis plus $2 million to buy gold watches? Isn't it the height of irresponsibility and the analogy of the father who refused or who could not pay fees, yet he saw the need to buy a new kind of gold watch, fit perfectly in that? And I'll just conclude on this.
Yes, please do.
Moro,
because I need to go around, yes.
Let me be very clear. You see the land on which they put up that building?
Yes.
It's even litigated.
By who and who?
By a family. As a matter of fact, they have already paid 400 million Ghana cedis for that land. Now, in one breath, they are communicators. You say, oh, it is compulsory acquisition. And the question is that if it was compulsorily acquired, why are you paying money for same purpose? So I'm saying that with all this and these reasons, apart from the fact that you ran the Bank of Ghana aground, apart from the fact that you failed to do what you are supposed to do, you printed 80.1 billion Ghana cedis. When the law says you cannot exceed 5%, you have done that. What it simply means is that the governor succumbed to the whims and caprices of the corrupt executive regime of President Nanado, and therefore could not demonstrate some level of independence. So if you cannot demonstrate some level of independence, then you are unfit to be there. And the shocking aspect of the explanation and the justification for the construction or the building of the new office, they told us, they looked into our miserable faces and said, oh, where the Bank of Ghana is earthquake prone. Then if it is true that it is earthquake prone, then they don't supposed to spend even 30 seconds in that building.
All right.
Except that they are telling us they know when earthquake is going to strike. When, you know, Crossland in Lagos, archaeology, Crossland used to tell us in the lecture room, the entire Accra is on a rock. That the entire Accra is on an earthquake-prone area. And so the most insulting aspect is to tell us that you are putting up a new office because where the Bank of Ghana is located is on an earthquake-prone area.
So I guess your point,
it must be relocated.
right? So the point you're making is that it's untenable. That reasoning is untenable. It's not acceptable. It's not justified.
Absolutely
in any way.
not.
Let me go to Mr. Alfred Kojo Thompson, who is a member of the MVP's communications. Alfred, what do you have to say about this? I mean, one breath you would hear the demonstrators.
More, by the way, he said that in Singapore people pay for tissue paper, and therefore we should stop complaining as citizens. He said that.
Where? On another platform, not here.
He's reported. I can just. He's
okay.
reported.
Yeah, what has
all right.
that got
So once
that is true.
Well, once it's
you
here.
are so insensitive.
No, but once
they
it's
don't
here,
pay for it.
So once it's here, no, you're done. I think you should allow him to.
No, I know he's
to give us his thoughts. But before he comes in, Alfred, the viewers don't worry. They're very good friends, and so they do this to each other from time to time. 0249 155 646. 0249 155 646. If you have any comments to share on the topic we are discussing, you can send your views to 0249 155 It will be displayed on the screen shortly. Alfred, I don't know, would you have any responses to what
A lot.
Murtala has said? Please go ahead.
Before I start, I would say good morning to you. You didn't give me the chance to say good morning to my mischievous and troublesome friend Murtala and to my defunct sister Nanaya Chantwa. One thing I would say,
you all morning,
she hasn't. Okay. She hasn't.
All right.
One thing I would say, and I take this quote: they do not understand him, and what they don't understand, they fear.
Okay.
And what they fear, they seek to destroy. But he will rise to the glory of God.
Okay.
This I say on behalf of Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, as he celebrates his 60th birthday today.
Okay.
As we speak.
Oh, and today's his birthday.
Yeah, today is his 60th
birthday.
birthday.
So he turns 60 today. Oh, yeah. So happy birthday to the Vice President of this country.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia. We wish him all the best. Yes, please go ahead.
And he's our man, he's our voice, and he's our hope for the future.
Okay.
Murtala, Murtala has said so many things, and so has Professor Lord Mensah.
Lord Mensah, yes.
I sit down and I ask myself simple questions and analogies about this whole demonstration. Okay. What was the purpose of the demonstration? What was the main purpose of the demonstration? Wasn't it to give a petition?
Yes.
To the central bank governor.
Yes.
So if you are going to give a petition and you are not able to do it, is it successful?
Oh, well, it depends on how you look at it.
No, it's a simple
question you're asking.
Yeah, but it's a simple question and answer. This thing that the success of the demonstration is that I am going to deliver a petition. I'm not able to deliver the petition because of my own whims and caprices.
Oh. Right.
And then you come and tell me that, oh, I've had a successful demonstration. It means that the point that you were given, the main thing, impulse of this demonstration, is not about giving off a petition.
Perhaps that explains why they say they'll be going back. They'll go back.
It is not the giving. I'm making a point. It is not the giving of a petition.
Okay.
It is not. And that is why I call that demonstration a keep fit exercise.
Okay.
Because whoever is come to receive the petition on behalf of the governor reports directly to the governor. He reports directly to the governor.
Okay.
So if you come and meet him, and secondly, you speak and you said the governor disrespected you, this person, but you stand in front of someone and disrespect the person in front of their own man who has a family, and you think that you should not be disrespected.
How did we?
I explained to you, Murtala, write your points.
Where is the chief?
I'm saying a lot of things. Yeah, but you gave him a lot of time.
No,
so
that's why I want you to use your
now.
Yes.
This person that you went to meet came with other dignitaries of the bank.
Sure.
The head of security of the bank, as was being done when I was in NIB, reports directly to the governor, just like the nation.
Right.
The head of securities of all the agencies in Ghana here reports directly and gives the president a debriefing on a daily basis. So the head of security reports directly to the governor of the Bank of Ghana. When you got there, he told you asked him that he should tell you who he is. And he said, listen, I'm the head of the security of this whole institution, noble institution. And also a lawyer just like you. You know what they called him? A watchman. That is what they started calling him there. That we did not come, so is watchman not a human being? Is watchman not a human being?
Please let it allow him because of time.
Is watchman not a human being? You're looking down on the watchman.
He can exhaust his time.
He's not a human being in this country.
Please go ahead.
Assuming without thinking that you've gone to meet the person, what did you want to do? To deliver a petition to the governor.
Right.
Whatever the channel the governor wants to use to receive the petition, it's not part of your problem.
Okay.
All you need to do is that, Mr. Governor, we are presenting this petition to the rep who you have sent to come and meet us. And that is what you have to do. But you see, usually in any civilized democracy, the last resort you use in sending your grievance is going on the streets.
Right.
After you've exhausted every channel. And that is the problem the Keep Fit people had. One, you are sending a petition to someone to sack himself from office. Who appointed him? Isn't it the president?
Are you by this suggesting that Addison can't resign if he wants to?
I didn't say resign. I said
stopped?
he should sack himself. That's what you're asking him to do.
They're asking him to resign.
Resigning is what? Sacking yourself, isn't it?
If
I decide to resign,
that's possible.
if I decide to resign, I'm resigning on my own accord.
Yes.
If you tell me to resign, it means you are telling me to sack myself. That's two different things. Yeah, but let's look at the impulse of it.
I understand, but
you are telling me to sack myself.
I get it. I get it.
So if you want me
Alfred,
to sack myself, go and give it to the person who appointed me.
No, but however you want to interpret it, they say go.
I will do.
Resign. Whether you want to interpret it as sacking yourself, whatever, it says resign.
Let's be realistic.
So I don't think we should.
No, it's part of that. It's part of what is going on. It is part. Don't take any.
Are you saying it is wrong for anybody to ask the central
when you are
bank
writing
to
a
resign?
statement and you don't dot your I, it will turn into something else.
I agree with you, but
you have to dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and that is what we are going to do today. We are going to interrogate the meaning and the purpose of this demonstration, and I'll prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that this demonstration wasn't to send a petition to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, but to just go on the streets and have a keep fit exercise.
Right.
Now, coming back to the point. You haven't petitioned the president. You haven't told the president that, listen, Mr. President, the person you've appointed is not working up to the dictates of the constitution or whatever you want to state. Okay. So I believe that you should get him out. And the president will say that I will not do it. Then you can petition the, your own boss, that is the Speaker of Parliament, to have an independent investigations into the activities of Bank of Ghana, and the necessary measures will be taken. But when you go into the constitution, it tells you that when you want to get the governor out, it's the same way as getting the chief justice or justices of the Supreme Court. So why didn't you pass through that channel? At least to show Ghanaians that I have a good intention of going for this thing, going to get the governor out. But you just proved to us. And that is why when you look at the videos, I'm sure that you didn't play that one. They lured people and lied to them for them to follow them. They told people that, Akufo-Addo is not looking after the nation well, so we want to get Akufo-Addo out. So whoever it is, follow us onto the streets. So when someone was even holding the picture, and they've written that Governor Addison there, they asked him who is that? He said it's Nana Akufo-Addo.
I saw that video.
I wish you could play it for everyone to see.
I saw that video.
Others haven't seen it. If you can play it, people will see. And they will see the misleading and lies and propaganda of a party called NDC. That is their status or their modus operandi for anything that they do in this country. They don't care about the people of Ghana. They don't care about the development of Ghana. All they think about is how can we get into power? And whatever means we have to use, let us go onto the streets so that people will feel and see that, Ghana is not being taken care of, or Ghana is not being ruled well. So you insult everyone apart from yourselves and go onto the streets. Before they went onto the streets, the 137 MPs that they are talking about, did they go and consult their constituencies and ask them whether they should go on the streets or not? You are not just running on your own behalf. You are running for the people of their constituency. And those people are the people's tax that are being used to pay you. You are talking about Governor Addison being paid by the taxman, but you are not being paid by the taxman. It's the same tax. My constituency, the MP never, ever even called the meeting that, okay, this is the decision we want to take. Should I go? Cape Coast South.
Okay.
And he was a former Minister of Finance and a former Deputy Minister of, Trade. Honorable Ricky Tegan.
Yes.
They never called any meeting that, okay, this is the route we want to take. So do we accept it or should I go or not? They went on their own accord to do their own things, to feel that they are okay. That is why they said that they will come back, because they want to go on another kefet exercise. That is all they know how to do. They have no solution.
So you also think
what was the solution for this?
The demonstration was unnecessary.
It was a kefet exercise for them, just to arouse the people of Ghana that, listen, everybody doesn't like the government. Over 30 million people. If you get less than 100,000 people going on the streets, you tell me that, Ghanaians don't like the government, so they should go. Ghanaians know that there are challenges in the world. Ghanaians know that there's economic surge in this world. Every country is suffering, not only Ghana. Australia, they have had to account for 37 billion Australian dollars for their central bank. When you go to UK, they are making provision of over 150 billion pounds for their central bank and the challenges that they are facing. You go to Swiss, over 132 billion Swiss francs. Netherlands, the same. Other countries are having challenges. Have they all asked their central bank governors to go or their exchequers to walk out of their office because of the challenges they are facing?
Any smart person who understands what is going on in the world knows that there's an economic crunch. How do we solve this economic crunch? By having cool heads. You start a keep fit exercise by calling the governor and his courts unprintable names. Look at the MP for Medina. Look at the words he used. Who is a hooligan? A hooligan is someone who will cause mayhem, who will cause unrest, who will cause use certain words on you that are unprintable. So if the governor says you are hooligans, it's based on what you displayed. And they always say that Abekor, or to me say in one palm kernel can spoil the whole soup that you are cooking. So if the leader or someone who is an MP, an honorable member of parliament, starts the exercise by calling names, unprintable names, to the governor and his mother and his family, you think the governor will feel right to come in front of you and receive a petition? What if you stab him there? Because the people you are sending to go, anybody can do anything in front of him. Right. So you send his head of security, who knows all the security apparatus on how to handle some of these things, and who reports directly to him as a governor to go there and receive it on his behalf. Right. He will not send any other person than him. And if you like it, and if you are really serious about what you want to do, you will drop it with him and tell him to give it to the governor.
The question, Alfred, would be that what is it that the central bank governor was so busy doing that he couldn't have just made time to go and meet and collect the petition?
I would respond to that. I can write it. I would write it down and respond to that. What was he? What is it that?
In the meantime, a very good friend of mine, Simons, has sent me a message that was posted on Facebook by Gabi Asariochu, who is a member of the New Patriotic Party. Yeah. And then Simon says, it's a very interesting world. Now listen to this.
Let me finish my submission.
So you can rope it in. So you can rope it in. It will only enrich your submission. That's why. In 2014.
Yeah, I've seen it.
He says, I gave one of my very rare radio interviews last week.
I know. I know that.
Oh, you know this one?
Oh, yes, I know. Okay, so we can go on.
No, read it to the...
we can go on. I told him to show a video.
I gave one of my very rare... Alfred, hold on, please. I gave one of my very rare radio interviews last week, contributing to the finance minister's mid-year budget review. And I made the point that the reshuffle that took place will mean nothing. The man that must go is Wampa. At the time, Wampa was then the central bank governor. And it says, any central bank boss who brings in measures against popular advice to resolve a crisis, and those measures end up worsening the crisis as warned by all of us, is only to be forced by his own folly to backtrack half-heartedly, has lost the authority to determine monetary policy for us. He's bad for the CD, bad for business, bad for the average Ghanaian, bad for the economy, and bad for Ghana. He must do the CD a favor and go. Time to spend more time with your family to pave way for a more competent person to spend time on the CD.
Okay, where did he put this? Oh, I'm on the floor. Why are you doing this? Why you people? You don't have patience at all.
Yes,
what's your problem?
Alfred, please go ahead.
Where did he put this?
This was on Facebook.
On Facebook. He didn't go on the streets that Wampa should resign.
No, it's about the opinion he's expressing.
No, did he go on the streets that Wampa should resign?
No, I'm talking about the opinion
I'm asking a simple question. Did he go on the streets
because
that
you have
Wampa should
addressed,
resign?
you have
Because he didn't, you see, at that time he hadn't used all the channels.
Okay. People don't have
He should use all the channels before he goes. And one of the channels is expressing his displeasure about someone. You could have expressed your displeasure.
So you don't have a problem with the issues that are being raised by the minority. You only have a problem with the fact that he hit the streets.
I'll get into the issues as well.
Okay.
Because their issues are flimsy and I don't think they even went and read through it. Let me tell you, when you are attacking someone, make sure that you yourself you are coming with clean hands.
Right.
But you yourself are not coming with clean hands, and you are attacking the person.
Right.
And then when they hit, that was just a small pinch that the governor gave you, and you've gone haywire. All of them are shouting that who are hooligans, who are this. Start with your MP for Medina. Tell him that when you are going and you are sending a message, you don't want any sign of hooliganism in their presentation. So when he starts that way, you spoil the whole, the whole message that you are sending across.
But do you think it's acceptable to use, assuming what's the name, Francis Xavier Sosu did was an act of
which he apologized, actually.
Will it be even fair to just use that one particular scenario to describe the
I
whole
gave
group.
you the proverb that our forefathers had given us from
If you
time
could- if you could
immemorial.
remind us.
That one palm
Bad
kernel
nut spoils the soup.
can spoil the whole soup.
So Addison's statement has spoiled the entire government structure.
The thing that Sosu
Translated.
said at the beginning
Okay, justifies the description.
was
the
very
labeling
wrong. What
of
is the meaning of hooliganism?
Okay. No, I'm just
Go
saying.
and check.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
you will
That's-
see that
that is-
exactly what Sosu did was hooliganism.
Okay.
Another one is Sam George calling the head of security a watchman.
So what? So what? What is the difference between watchman and security?
There is a vast
Don't
difference between a
denigrate
watchman
what-
and a security.
what is the
There's a
difference?
vast difference.
What is the difference?
When you get your time, you can say that one. Let me concentrate and focus on what I'm doing. You had enough time, undisturbed, and I don't know why you keep on disrupting me. Now, I'll read something. When you go to the Bank of Ghana, Act 202, Act 612, Section 30, subsection 6,
Sure.
and it states, in the event of an emergency, and it used the word emergency, the governor, the minister, and the controller and accountant general shall meet to decide the limits
And they, who approved
of
that?
borrowing that should be
Parliament.
done
You read it very
and made by government, and the minister shall submit a report to
He
parliament
hasn't done that.
within 7 days.
And he hasn't done that. That's the problem.
7 days of sitting.
Of sitting.
When we came into government in 2007, there was no borrowing. 2017, there was no borrowing.
That's not true.
2018,
That's not true.
There was no borrowing.
That's not true.
2019,
That is a lie.
Oh, please go ahead.
That's a lie.
Let him land, and then you
I'll
can come
pull
in.
the-
Please go
I'll
ahead.
pull the. That's a
Yeah,
lie.
please go ahead. No, let him finish at least so that you can come in.
What are you
Please
talking
go ahead.
about?
I'm going to give you.
was
I'm
no
going to.
borrowing.
Yes, I'm coming.
They can go on. What was it? What are you
Because,
talking about?
because of time, Alpha.
He doesn't know the
You've done
point.
No,
almost
I'm
20
just-
minutes already. You've done almost 20 minutes already. That's
Because
what
you see, I always want to have my proof right in front of me, so that when people are being the people are being mischievous, you can always bring it up. My brother, 2017 there was no borrowing. Go and check. 2018 no borrowing. 2019 no borrowing. 2010 and 2020. That's when we went for the 10 billion for COVID relief. And even that one, I'm coming. Even that one, they called upon the minister called upon Parliament and presented on the 27th of March. They should go and check their documents.
So the Eurobonds that were floated,
They are not borrowing.
No, I mean borrowing from Bank of Ghana. That's what I meant.
Okay, you're borrowing from the Bank of Ghana.
This thing. Sorry, when I say borrowing, borrowing from Bank
So
of
tell
Ghana.
us that.
So you're more
But you know what I'm talking about. You are talking of Bank of Ghana issues. No, which issues are we talking about?
Have you taken breakfast?
Which issues are we talking about?
please go ahead.
We are
Because of
talking
time,
about.
I beg
I'm
you,
talking
I beg you,
about
please,
Bank
because
of
of time.
Ghana.
Please,
Bank of
let's
Ghana
allow
issues.
him to
Then in
conclude.
2021,
Yes.
they took the 5% borrowing,
right.
but they paid back.
Yeah.
So when you go into the books of Bank of Ghana, it's 0% financing from Bank of Ghana. Then 2022 was when they took the big hit.
Okay.
And why did that happen? It happened because at that time, at that particular point in time, there were so many things that had happened within the country. Since 1992, we've had non-marketable instruments that have been in the books of Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
It takes a bold person to say once and for all that, you know what, these things are never going to be paid.
Yes.
So let us clean our books.
Okay.
And that is what the governor did. And that was over 32 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Over 32 billion Ghana cedis. You look at the cocoa bonds that were given. The Bank of Ghana governor has been given the mandate to make sure that everything that you are doing, make sure that it does not negatively affect your monetary policy, and that you have to put measures in place for this monetary policy to be stable. He had to come in to make sure that the cocoa bonds that people had purchased were going to be paid.
Okay.
So they took it upon themselves to take that up. Now, when we talk about this 60 billion the notes that has been given by Bank of Ghana to clean up their books, it doesn't mean that Bank of Ghana is bankrupt and cannot work.
Right.
They can work. But what do they have to do? They are not insolvent. They need to clean up their books to have a clean slate to move on.
Okay.
You know what you're talking about.
Just like when you need to go and borrow from IMF. There are certain conditions they'll give you. And part of it is to make sure that there are certain loans and things that you make sure that you pay within your system. He talked so many times about this thing. This is a governor. He was talking about the governor.
2 minutes because
Yes, he was talking about the governor who has brought so much discomfort to the people.
Yes.
When Sir Addison was taking office in 2017, there was something we call the gold reserves that President Kufuor left, and it was 8.7 tons of the gold reserves. And you know, when Governor came, he's been trying as much as possible to work with the international community to our reserves that are in USD dominated to transfer or transform all into gold reserves so that they use the gold as our reserves. Yeah. So he's been sewing up our reserves. Something that over 8 years, you people could not even add 1 ton or 1 ounce.
That's a lie.
He's raising it, or he's raised it up from 8.7 tons that Kufuor left in 2016 to 15.1 tons to make sure that our gold reserves are soaring up. You tell this person that he's a non grata.
Okay.
Someone who has worked hard to make sure that at the end of all the challenges, he's taking decisions that our devaluation will not be like what happened in Zimbabwe, over 1,000%. Okay. So and the person has taken a decision on behalf and on the interest of Ghana, and you tell me that the person is a person non grata.
So I think that your point you're making is that per the data that you have, the central bank governor has done well.
He has worked hard to make sure that everything that can stop the Ghanaian city from being a dysfunctional and our country coming to a halt is put in place. And after that, when you go into the Ministry of Finance report, in 2020, when we took the first tranche of 10 million, he did a report on the 27th of March to Parliament. 2023, when you go and check his report that he sent to Parliament in March or so, he did a report on the borrowings of this thing. The other thing that they said he should add was the measures they are going to put in place. The reviewed act was the measures the Minister of Finance is putting in place to make sure that these things don't reoccur. And those are the things he's spelled out in his to Parliament.
Let me read a few messages and then I'll come to Nanaya. It doesn't look like we can do a second topic. It doesn't look like we can do a second topic because of
the key fits that they went is worrying them. So I understand.
So let me do this. Now, Kwabena Sapon sends a message. Kwabena Sapon is one of the leading members of the New Patriotic Party. He sends a message and says, how would you look at this? They told the people that the governor has printed money and given to Cecilia Dapa to hide in her room.
Oh, who said that?
That was one of the things
Deputy Finance Minister making such a statement. And looking at the history of these guys, they killed judges, lawyers, Muntie 3. The governor was right in sending a rep to collect the letter. No, just hold on. This is somebody's message.
I will remind him what
listen to him.
And it says,
have the patience.
It is my personal view.
I will remind him.
Please.
So you don't listen to anyone apart from yourself.
So I beg you. The disruptions are too many. Hold on, please. I beg you.
But I will have to.
And it says, it is my personal view that the secretary to the bank should have been sent. Yes. There is nothing wrong with the chief of security, but the most appropriate person should have been the secretary. In conclusion, the governor should never make a mistake to come to receive the petition himself.
Thank you.
So, in
Governor
Sapon's view, it is not safe to do that.
Because you read
the secretary. Just a quick one. The secretary is a lady.
The gentleman who sent the text, he should go and read about the political history of this country.
Yes.
The people who taught the people of this country how to use gun to govern was their grandfathers. Martin, they pounded women private parts in Kumasi. He wants us to talk about that history.
Okay.
He wants us to talk about that history.
The secretary to the board of the governor of the Bank of Ghana is a lady. Okay. And for the security of that lady, the governor had to take a right decision.
I don't know
what the right person.
I don't know what is so unsafe about
people who have called you names.
What's going to happen to that public official?
Anything could happen. What did they help?
But you're not scared of the person's taxes that pays you. But
what if stones were held at?
Let me now go to the
now. The subsequent statement made by the governor of Bank of Ghana, describing us as hooligans, demonstrate
that.
So this is what
he didn't invite everybody.
Any of the deputies to come to take the petition.
Was because you asked me what he was doing.
Ordinary people.
These are members of parliament
representing people.
All right.
You asked me what the governor was doing. The governor was at an IMF meeting. And after the IMF board meeting, you heard what the IMF country director said about our ratings.
You've had your turn. I beg you. Nanaya, please come in now.
There is something called first.
I didn't see you at the demonstration.
Wait, there's something called first come, first serve.
Okay.
There's something called that.
Right. And the last half.
Do you get me?
Right.
And it is relevant. So you cannot just give the time to the men and I'll be sitting here watching.
No, not at all.
And
the next time around, it's going to be ladies first.
And I came here before
the two of them. That's fine.
So you can't
well
give
noted.
all the time to them.
Well noted.
All the time is when they've been talking up and up and down.
You have 20 minutes to deliver yours.
But they spoke more than 20 minutes.
No, they spoke. I timed them.
Who told you?
I timed them. I timed them. He did 20. He did 20. I timed them. Please go ahead. Nana, please. No, Nana has a point. She's been here. She's been here before 8 because of time. Please go ahead.
They did you
Nana, please go ahead.
Before her. When she came before you.
Nana, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Why are you my lawyer?
Please go ahead, Nana.
Moro.
Your thoughts, please, Nana.
Good morning.
I didn't see you at the demonstration.
Because
I didn't see you.
Did you see everybody?
Well,
that's what I was coming to say.
Oh, okay.
That the point is that they didn't even allow women to speak to the crowd. They only carried the men. I saw that they carried a Seydun Ketia and made him come and speak. All men. Meanwhile, there are women in this country, you know. And Yas Antoine was the woman who stood to fight the British in those days.
As a matter of fact, one of the civil society organizations, I was in the car when we were speaking. We actually insisted she speak because she spoke earlier at the Rise Ghana and she said no. Someone should speak. We made them.
Like
but I agree with you that yes, we should. But we made that effort.
Yes, you should look for the women and let the women speak. Why?
Must she be there?
Alfred, I beg you, because of time. Please allow her to speak.
Were you there?
Nana, please go ahead. Yes.
The point is that.
Nana, please bring down your microphone a little bit so that we can.
The Constitution is the law.
Just bring it down a bit. Yes, thank you.
The Constitution, you see, because I told you, the Constitution is the law, and the law with which this country is governed. The Constitution says clearly that, as Alfred said, that you cannot remove the Bank of Ghana governor anyhow. There are rules. But our problem is the Constitution that we should all look at and review. Because it is the president who appoints that person we say is independent. If the person is independent, why should somebody appoint him or her? The person should come in as a pure public servant, go through the rudiments, go through an interview with Public Services Commission. Yes. And in that case, that person is truly independent. And that person should swear an oath before the Speaker of Parliament in Parliament, because Parliament is Ghana. So if you have somebody who was appointed, his appointment letter is by the president. His salary, everything is being dictated by the Ministry of Finance. How can that person be independent? It is not easy to be independent like that. So whatever he does is being dictated by somebody. The currency that he was asked to print, who asked him to print it? It's to support something and support the budget of a government. Do you get me? Right. So the Constitution is the problem. It also says that to remove the governor, you should petition the president.
Yes. Just like with the EC, just like with judges and so on. Yeah.
So why didn't everybody petition the president? The president, I always said from the very beginning that the president should be the one they should petition.
No, we're asking him to resign. So
no, because he cannot resign. I mean,
that's not like he cannot, but he will not resign.
We're asking him to resign.
No, but Honorable, the point is that I am in my position, and you ask me to resign. How is that?
Some have resigned that way.
No,
when Cecilia did that, we insisted she resigned.
No, you see, when Cecilia resigned, she resigned on her own accord.
So that's why I want him to also.
No, but you cannot force somebody to resign. Do you get me? Cecilia resigned on her own accord.
No pressure.
There was no demonstration against Cecilia, my dear.
So I'm saying that people are resigned because you exert pressure on them to resign.
There's nothing wrong with calling on somebody to resign.
No, I said calling on somebody to resign. And it is that one. It is not compulsory.
Yes, I know. We know that.
Do you get me?
Yes.
It is not obligatory.
Yes.
If you ask me to resign from my position, I resigned from the POIC on my own accord because I was not pleased with what was going on, because I thought that I have worked so hard, and if this is what it is, what is the point? And my father also told me, the late F.A. Janto, he said, Nanaya, there is no point. You are not going to go hungry as long as I live, and when even I die, I'll make sure you don't go hungry. And he said, leave. Do you get me?
Right.
So I left. On my own accord. Nobody pushed me out. There were all manner of things they were doing against me. But I did not resign because of what they were doing.
But Anaya, does it also mean that you can't give somebody pressure for the person?
No, please. I am saying that if you send me a petition,
yes, to resign,
for me to please,
and I give you reasons,
Moro, please, for me to resign, I will put it in my drawer.
Okay.
Because who will see it? I am the person you want to resign.
Yes.
And you are giving the petition to me. And it goes against me.
Yes.
It is derogatory to my development, my career, my life, my time.
I won't do it.
I will not do it.
Oh, but now
So
I
you
know
give-
if you are presenting that, what normally you do, before the person, you read the petition.
It does not
Mutala,
matter.
I think the point. You see, the point is.
I'm not talking about
sorry,
procedure.
let me help out.
You
with
see,
that.
you are taking my
I
time.
beg you, just 1 second. I think the point she's making is that it is unrealistic.
Yes.
For you to expect somebody to resign because you say the person should resign.
Yeah, but
the person will not resign. So it's a waste of time. I think that's the point she's making.
I'm saying that, you see, you let me...
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's not a waste of time.
Please go ahead. No, I'll go ahead.
You see,
Time.
if you tell me to resign, it is a suggestion you are giving to me. If in my mind I
I'm not
know
convinced.
what happened, maybe it's not even my fault, and that somebody else made me do A, B, C, D.
I will not resign.
I will not resign. Or even if it is my fault and the power lies with me to go, I will not go.
So it means that approach is wrong.
It is the approach. You see, the point is that it is not keep fit. The issue. You see, the issue. I always said that they could have done whatever they were doing to the Bank of Ghana and sent a petition to the president or to the chief of staff, who will receive it on behalf of the president, or the vice president, who will receive it on behalf of the president. Because when you see, we want to see the appointment letter of the Bank of Ghana governor. Who signed it? If it was signed by the president, then he is the appropriate person to let him go. What are we looking at? We are looking at somebody who, in our view, has not done his work properly and has to go. Why should he resign on his own accord? Because he does not acknowledge that he has done wrong. So you cannot tell him to resign. But you see, the Constitution also says that the governor of the Bank of Ghana shall, for the purpose, that is Article 183, Clause 3, the governor of the Bank of Ghana shall, for the purpose of this article, disallow any transaction or transfer involving directly or indirectly any foreign exchange, whether in or outside Ghana, which is contrary to law. Do you get me?
Right.
So, I mean, when you look, I'm not a lawyer, but it's telling me that whatever he does, it should be according to law. And that if he does not do that, he has done wrong. If you go beyond the threshold of 5%, you have done wrong. But the same Constitution also says that it is the finance minister who should tell Parliament in a matter of 7 sitting days. Parliament does not sit on Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 sitting days. He should have gone to Parliament to tell them that we met as the Constitution allowed us.
He did.
Controller, myself, and the governor. That looking at the exigencies of the time, for him to tell them what the exigencies is, what the emergency is, explain to them, let them understand exactly what it is. We did A, B, C, D. We want to go beyond the 5% threshold allowed for us to shore up our currency and print more to help our budget. Then Parliament will interrogate whatever is before them. If that was not done, the Constitution does not say that it is the governor who is supposed to do it. But the governor also has a responsibility to do the right thing, because he always has to do things that is within the remit of the law. He cannot do things on his own, so that even he also has a responsibility to have insisted that the finance minister goes to Parliament before he goes ahead to even print. He should have gotten a letter of approval from Parliament showing that they have gone there. Minister of Finance has gone there to what? To talk to them, and they have given the approval for it to be printed.
Right.
He erred. But the responsibility doesn't lie on him alone. It also lies on the Minister for Finance. It also lies on our constitution that has given so much power to the president. Because it is the president who appoints an independent person, the president who appoints. It does not make sense. If I am independent and I'm appointed by somebody and I swear an oath of office in front of that person, how can I be truly independent? I cannot be independent.
It means we've been deceiving ourselves all the time.
We need to change the constitution. Do you get me? You need to change the constitution because there are a lot of ambiguity around it. They said that I worked in an institution where it was very independent, highly independent. Do you get me? So if it is highly independent like that, you always have conflict. You need a very strong. In our case, the good thing that we had was that when President Mahama was president, he understood what an independent institution was. So you do your tariff. And he says that my government will subsidize. This is what we can pay for the people of Ghana. Do you get me? Others didn't do that. We had challenges. Other governments didn't believe that.
No, just this government. I don't know why.
I wasn't there when this government was in power. I left.
You enjoyed the.
Only 3 months and I was
there.
They booted me, harassed me.
Yes.
So the point is that I worked in PRC for a period of about 13, 14 years. And I would say that the period that we had true independence was the time that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was the president. Right. Because he didn't interfere. But most governments feel very uncomfortable with independent institutions. And they always want to interfere. You see, Alfred also said something. He said that the people who followed the crowd were told that the NDC or whoever, the organizers, Arise Ghana and all of them, were going to remove the president, and the people followed. I mean, that is even more dangerous.
It's insulting even the intelligence of those who participate.
Because you see, it is dangerous because if people would follow the crowd and go and demonstrate because they hear that they have to remove the president, then it means people are not happy. And the MPP should take a cue from it.
I like that.
Do you get me? They should take a cue from it. That the organizers were able to say that we are going to remove the president, so come along and help us. And people came. No, whatever it is, they are demonstrating again. You said that, I wrote it all. You said that people... You said that people follow. Yes, you said that people follow because the organizers.
You've forgotten what you said.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
Because the organizers said that they are going to remove the president. I wrote it down here. If you have a demonstration where people follow in their numbers because they believe that you are going to help let the president go, then the MPP should stop being peacockika and sit down and re-strategize and analyze to do the right thing. You see, they have about 400 days. It's not even 400. About 300. We have 365 for next year. They have about a year to redeem themselves. When a child is 1 year, the child tries to walk and talk. There is a change in the life of that child. Do you get me? So they should try as much as possible to redeem themselves, because it is the saddest thing for me when I heard him say that. It is the saddest thing. If I am the president today and I hear that people join the demonstration because they heard that I am going to be removed, I will be so sad.
What do you make of the response of the central bank governor? I'll ask you that. We have to take a short break. We'll take a short break with just about 30 seconds or so. When we come back, I'll ask you about the response of the central bank governor. This is Inside Pages on Metro Television. All right, so welcome back. This is Inside Pages. I guess we have about, demonstrations during an era where the leader of the country was even a military man who had time to listen to their grievances. The posture of the governor of the Bank of Ghana is so appalling and must resign. Mr. Host, is the worst of democracy better than the best of military government? Bismarck from Arigu inside Wale Wale. And Alai Baba from Medina says, good morning, the MPP administration is full of talkatives. Who told MPP that Ghanaians need explanation about what is happening to us? Fix it. That's why presidential convoys don't go through traffic congestion. Always something to put blame on. Did the NDC put blame on Dumso or anything else when they were in power? Lazy MPP administration. That's come from Ali Baba from Medina. Vincent from Ofankor says, good morning, Mr. Moro. Please tell Honorable Mutala that branches in Bank of Ghana do not report annually individually. So the Bank of Ghana financial statement includes the activities of regional branches. Vincent from Ofankor. Junior in Tantra Hill says, Ato Forson, the leader of the demonstration, was Deputy Finance Minister on board and board member of the Bank of Ghana when the depositors' funds was allegedly, he says, squandered in the manner by Capital, Bank, Beach, etc., as adjudicated by a court. Thank God the Akufo-Addo took over the bank and paid depositors their fund. Junior in Tantra Hill sends that message. Mr. Sapon is back. He says, Moro, these guys went on a useless demonstration. It was an expression of political desperation. Ask them, can the speaker be removed or asked to resign by a demonstration of a political party, or can the Chief Justice be asked to resign for the same demonstration? Please ask Musala, what will he say if MPP organizes a demonstration and asks the Speaker of Parliament or the Chief Justice to resign? Will he be happy? All right, so that's from Mr. Kwabena Sapon. Now, please,
Moro, you see,
your
the Bank of Ghana governor should have gone out to take the petition himself.
Okay.
There was nothing wrong. The police was the arena was laden with police security.
Right.
Nobody could have done anything to him. Mm-hmm. But for democracy to thrive, for democracy to be beautiful, so that he's not seen as somebody who is arrogant and doesn't care, he should have gone to get the petition himself with his two deputies. Mm-hmm. Do you get me? Even if he was with the IMF having a meeting, I don't know whether he was outside the country, but he knew when this demonstration was going to be. He was aware if he has a head of security, he will be briefed. He could have sent one of his deputies to go there, because there's already a template for the second tranche. You've done a first tranche, the template is already there. Today, they said the IMF is saying that we are doing well. The IMF, do they know the price of a ball of cake?
They didn't even say that. Okay.
So the point is that he himself should have been there. It would have been nice. Receive a smile and go your way. How long would it take?
Right.
All this drama around it wouldn't have happened. For him, you see, when I see him, he comes across as a very honorable person.
Oh.
I'm talking about the
Addison. Dr. Addison. Yes.
I don't know. I said I don't know him. I only
very condescending.
I don't know him, but I am saying that he comes across. That's why I use the word
comes across. He appears.
Yes, as a very honorable person. You can be condescending and also honorable.
Right.
So the point is that those words are not good. It's not even fit for his office. The governor of the Bank of Ghana does not use words like hooligans. You don't insult your peers, because the people who demonstrated, any one of them, the leaders, the MPs, any one of them could be the governor of a bank, of a central bank. So you don't tell them they are hooligans. They are not hooligans. And these are Ghanaians. These are the hooligans who voted for a government for you to be a governor. So why do you call them hooligans? You might be upset. You might, and it does not also behove on him to decide whether the demonstration was needless or necessary. That is a tool of resistance in democracy. Even in America, as we stand now, George Floyd, when he was killed, was there not a demonstration? Demonstrations are tools used to bring notice to a subject matter that is creating a problem.
Right.
So there was nothing wrong with it. He couldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that at all.
So it was a gaffe?
Yes, it was. I don't know how he said this. I don't know who pushed him to say it.
Derek, please let's watch. Let's put the I think it's a statement or so up so we can read it before we leave here, because And then I would want to see the context.
You see, when the boys
context
were talking,
where
you didn't put
it.
anything up. Ever since I came in.
Because you asked a very important question, and so I think that the context is important, so that we can read the statement to your hearing.
When the boys were talking, you didn't interrupt. Now I'm talking, you are reading.
I actually want to help you, Nanea. Honestly, I want to help you. Anyway, so Derek, please put it up if you are there. Yes, we're running out of time, so just 2 minutes.
He was telling me that I should wish my senior brother a happy birthday.
Okay.
Dr. Bowman.
We all wish him a happy birthday.
No, I don't.
He's the vice president.
No, I don't celebrate it, so I don't think there's the need for me.
You mean you don't celebrate birthdays?
I don't. No, personally, for nothing.
I just wish him.
Oh no, I wish him a happy birthday. But you see, he came with a statement and said that he would use that statement, and virtually, I don't know whether it was a Bible quotation.
Should I read it for you?
No,
so Moro,
no,
you see
I
I
thought you are London.
No, I was going to
I'm sorry.
It's my 10th. It's my 10th.
So Alfred and Mutala, please. So
Moro,
let's give Nanea a minute to land. I beg you. No, she hadn't landed when I thought she had landed. No, sorry, she hadn't landed. I beg you.
Okay, so
she hadn't landed. Please land, and so I can come because we have just 5 minutes to go. Yeah, please go ahead. Nanea, just a minute so you can conclude on your submission. I beg you.
So you said you're going to show me a video, so
No, we're going to say no. It's actually a statement.
So yes. I am saying that, I mean, for him to say what he said, he wasn't on a campaign platform.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about Sosu. Yes, what Sosu did was wrong.
And he has since apologized.
Yes,
actually.
but you can akin it to the euphoria of the time. It wasn't good. That is why for me, when Honorable Brian Champo went to speak at Kwewu, I didn't take it too, because when in that kind of environment, people say...
Okay, so here we go. I will not resign from my position over the minorities' protest. The minority in parliament have many channels to channel their grievances, not through demonstrations in the streets like hooligans. The demonstration was completely unnecessary. Claims of printing money to finance government lifestyle, false. It says Bank of Ghana provided monetary financing during 2020 and 2022. Also, you don't need this.
We know
right,
them.
That's fine.
So we are saying that
she's about to land.
We are saying that this one, you see, this one, if it's murder, they will tell you it's premeditated murder.
Okay.
Because he thought about it, he wrote it.
Yes.
He knew the word that he was using. No, it wasn't euphoric.
Yeah.
He wrote it down and he thought about it. It's possible he had 3 words. He cancelled this and eventually he settled on hooligans. And that is wrong. You cannot, under no circumstance, can he tell that the members of parliament, he was even specific, that the members of parliament who represent us, because if they were hooligans, we will not vote for them to represent us.
Right.
The people in parliament, they are Ghana. So if you tell us that the people we have voted for are hooligans, it means we are all hooligans, we don't think. And we just decided to vote for them to go there. I think it is wrong.
Okay.
Maybe it is a slip. And we should all forgive and move on.
Should he apologize?
Yes, he should apologize.
Okay.
He should apologize.
Moro,
are you waiting for his apology?
When Sosu made that statement,
yes,
Sosu quickly apologized.
Yes.
That is honorable.
Right.
No politician in this country engaged in demonstration than Nanado.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I got to know Nanado
through a demonstration.
So I never knew he was a hooligan. I never knew. Something that is enjoined by the Constitution. People have indeed taken advantage of that.
But Mutala, you see, it means that the hooligans he described can be presidents one day, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So no, what I'm simply saying.
No, I'm saying that the hooligans he's talking about.
Yes,
they can be presidents.
I never knew that President Nado was a hooligan. I now know Ketsi Addison, but he said on the issue of the birthday to the vice president.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Why are you so keen on
me,
that one?
I won't quote the Quran or the Bible.
Why are you so keen on that?
I'll quote Machiavelli.
Okay.
Machiavelli says that the human beings are greedy of wants and needy of gains. As long as you shower your blessings upon them, they are all yours. Bawumia's blessing has been showered upon some people, they are now Bawumia's own. And therefore, every little opportunity they must be seen, demonstrating how they love that man so much. A man who has occasioned the mess in which we are today. A man who has taken unemployment rate from 6.8 to 17%. A man who has taken debt to GDP, a little over 60% to 90%. A man who has taken inflation from 15% to 40+%. A man who has indeed borrowed
about 400 billion plus, yet there is nothing to show.
The man is celebrating his birthday today. You spare him today.
A man who speaks to himself,
I beg
fun
you.
and laugh.
Alfred.
He would say something funny and laugh. No one laughs, then he will laugh.
Please wait.
I beg you. Murtala has shown me that he doesn't know the work of the office of the vice president. Period. And that is why you will get.
Please allow him.
Murtala,
Please allow him to answer.
Please. And don't know that economic management team is an advisory body.
What a team.
Now, to respond to one of Naneye's concerns that she raised, yes, I'll do it within a second. She talked about the approval from Parliament for the listing from Bank of Ghana.
Yes.
When you read the act,
It doesn't say so.
It doesn't say they need approval. It says that they take a decision and inform Parliament, and they tell Parliament of the remedial measures that they didn't say they should go for approval first, because they know that when they go for some of these things, people like Murtala will. They said report. They said report. The word was report.
Gentlemen, I beg you.
Read it well. Read it well. It says report.
This is where we draw the curtain.
And that is what you have to know. That is what you have to know.
Thanks to everybody.
Stop misbehaving, Mr.
Have a great weekend and bye-bye.
I
I was going to hit this.
I'm saying no, you are praising.
Yes,
me.
because he said the economic
You
management
were Alan.
team.
You were Alan.
No, he said the economic management team is advisory. It means that when Baumi advises, the government does.
But
that is
look,
what
it is beyond.
Sorry, I thought Michael and Co are taking me off air. Apparently, I was still on air. But anyway, let me say a big thanks to our viewers. You want to say something?
Yes, because he said the economic management team is advisory. It means that when Baumi advises.
Nobody.